Simon Gratz owns it. Okay, let's take a look. So, Aaron Levy and Simon Gratz. Closely associated with Simon Gratz was Aaron Levy, who became an extensive landowner in the central portion of the state. So, when Aaron Levy died, he gave the land to Simon Gratz, okay, as I just mentioned. Here's Route 45, and that road will take you, if you keep going this way, you come right down into State College. I want you to know this. Take a look at this. In Aaron Levy's will, dated June 28, 1802, many bequests were given to Simon Gratz, including he gave him the land Wildcat Ridge, which will be the site of Gratz Borough. There's something else I want you to know. Take a look up there at the screen. Can you see something else that I think is kind of interesting? And by the way, that building is the Gratz Historical Society that we just read about.
This picture was taken a long time ago.
It was, I agree. Something else there about these two towns. Simon Gratz owns both of them. What else do you see?
Lynn Jadal's house to the right.
Yes, I agree. Seth, you look like you just figured it out. I want you to know that. They're the first two towns in America to be named for Jewish founders. I do want you to know that. And that's obviously an interesting piece of history right here in our own backyard. Aaronsburg and Gratz, the first two towns in America to be named for Jewish founders. Simon Gratz was Judeo-Christian. Okay, let's move on. Wildcat Hill, sometimes called Wildcat Ridge. Mrs. Wolfgang, did we decide which one it actually is?
No, that's all I ever heard was Wildcat Ridge when I was growing up. So I don't.
But then in the book there it says Wildcat Hill. I don't know either. I've seen both.
It is a ridge.
It is a ridge. Well, I'll give you that. I want you to know Gratz was actually been said to be a little bit ahead of its time. It was laid out with Simon Gratz foresight. Now, I should also point something else out there. We don't have any record that Simon Gratz ever lived in Gratz. We also don't have any record that he actually ever set foot in the borough. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can it be named for him when he hasn't been there? Well, have you ever heard of Walmart? You think Sam Wall has been to every single Walmart in the world?
Yes.
Probably not. Probably not. Okay. So it's possible. Well, why do I say this is a town a little bit ahead of itself? Let's read the primary source. This was September 1829. Okay. And then I'll explain why this is significant. Faith, if you would, please.
Right in privilege of introducing water of the neighboring springs or streams to said town and its inhabitants, and for the purpose of digging trenches in and along the said streets, passages, and alleys, and laying barren pipes of conduit, and erecting fountains and other devices as they may see fit.
It's the first town to have actually public water and sewage. I do want you to know that. Okay? Public water and sewage. Conduit is pipes, basically. Conduit, conducting water, conducting sewage. You get the idea.
Why were they so advanced back then and now we're just a little dinky town in the middle of nowhere?
Hey, watch it.
No, but seriously, look, if they had all these big wings coming in, they're just like lichens, the same thing. Well, like lichens, it was the coal industry.
Well, define little and dinky. I don't know. Me personally, I would like it that way.
Well, yes, I'm not
You know.
arguing that, but a town that was thought to maybe be the
Well,
capital,
and I would-
now nobody past Millersburg ever hears of it.
Because times have changed.
Well, what did change? Answer your own question.
People.
Let's answer Mrs. Wolfgang's question. What changed?
People.
Keep going. What was gone? What's been gone? The coal industry, yeah. Once the coal dried up, that was that. we still have some industry though. We got metal industries, and you know, I've always said that. And maybe I'm wrong, but you know, in this valley, you either are a farmer, you work at metal industries, right, Screen, or you drive to Harrisburg, which a lot of people do those three. I would say the majority of people in this valley fall into those three categories.
Or you pick potatoes.
Well, that's part of farming agriculture. Okay, so you work in agriculture. Yeah. So Gratz was established, and Gratz was laid out by Simon Gratz. Now he was involved in laying out the town, okay, but as far as him living there, no. Now his son did. His son lived in Gratz, which we'll talk about in a minute. So Simon Gratz sees an opportunity. What impact did he have? Well, basically, he's the man with the money in the coal industry. He owned the Lycans Valley Coal Company, okay, just on the other side of the mountain there. And coal was back to being unsuccessfully mined, so an investor was needed. He's the guy. He actually owned the Bear Gap, okay, north of Wiccanisco, and the Lycans Valley Coal Company. He owned it all, okay. What you're looking at there, that was actually the trading post. Okay. Simon Gratz, Henry Schaefer of Halifax. Henry Schaefer was another owner. Let's read through this. 1832 is when we're talking. Bus, if you would.
1832, the first producers of the nationally known Red Ash Lycans Valley Coal Company. From a 1932 ledger book, the Wiccanisco Coal Company was organized in 1831. Mines were opened in drifts at the Bear Creek Gap, and coal was sold in the region about 1832.
Notice the way sold is spelled there. Obviously, not the way we would do it, but that's before Webster wrote his dictionary. Okay, so that was before that. Okay, market for coal expands. Simon Gratz, Henry Schaefer wanted to expand. The problem, we didn't have transportation. So what did Simon Gratz invest in next? I just told you 15 minutes ago. Say that louder.
The railroad.
The railroad, yes. So Simon Gratz financed the Lycans Valley Railroad, which is still with us by form of rail trails now. Okay. Still there, back in the mountain, goes from Millersburg right up through to Williamstown. Okay. Simon Gratz was the man with the money. By 1830, transportation was needed. As you can see there, he owned about 4,000 shares at a cost of $150,000. No small amount today. In 1832, you would have to multiply that by about 4% per year and then multiply by 8 on top of it. So doing that real quick in my head, that would
It's
be
like $1.5 million because we just learned about in English class that $100,000 back then was like $1 million now.
yeah, at least. No, that would be more than that. It'd be a little more than that. It would have to be. If you would actually throw in the cost of living and inflation, yeah, about. I'm gonna say that's closer to about $4 million. Okay, so I showed you this before, but I want you to understand that's all his. Okay, that's all his. That's his ownership there. Very wealthy man. Unfortunately, bankruptcy bred discontent. The company actually went bankrupt. Now, let me be clear. The company went bankrupt, but Simon Gratz was still a very wealthy man. Okay? So let's do this. Go ahead to page 9 of your handout. I want to just take a look at that for a few minutes. Go ahead and turn the lights on. So if you can see there, what they did was they sold up. Actually, do this. Go ahead over to page 10. And you can see the household, all these things were liquefied, which means it was sold. Okay. Go down to the middle of page 10. Simon Gratz estate dissolved. Obviously, there's a lot to settle here. Let's just take a minute and read through that. Seth, please.
took several years to settle the estate of Simon Gratz.